Hi all, Anthony Ross here, and I wanted to give you a quick walkthrough in how we visualize psychosocial risk assessment at Mibo. So when it comes to quantitative psychosocial risk assessment, one of the most important and often overlooked realities is that due to things like our individual histories, personalities, life circumstances, it's just not possible for two people to be impacted by the very same psychosocial circumstances in the same way. And this is where traditional approaches fall short. So culture engagement surveys do capture perceptions of exposure to some factors, but not the impact of that exposure. And then also models that consider duration, frequency, and severity of hazard exposure to assess risk are a step forward, but these methods are still not suitable to assess psychosocial risk because of the huge variations in how each person experiences that exposure. So instead, to better understand risk, we really need to ask the question, what impact is this exposure having on you? And that's the crux of how we go about things at Mibo. So if we look at our risk assessment page here, we assess and calculate risk based on prevalence times impact, which is a more appropriate way to assess psychosocial risk than traditional likelihood times consequence models. And we do it on a 0 to 100 scale. And so, if we look at this change management here, this is a change management process in a group of 10 people where 6 people had experienced change, and not a very good change process in this case, with everyone reporting harm. The other thing I'd highlight here is that when we're doing psychosocial risk assessments, we absolutely must assess both harm and benefit for relevant factors. So certainly some factors are harm only and can only contribute harm, but many factors can be protective, and so we've got to understand the degree of harm minimization and protection and support for mental health that beneficial protective factors are contributing. And this is particularly important to help us understand the interrelated nature of the overall psychosocial environment. So that's a crucial one, and you can see that here. And then the last thing I'd point out is that relying just on average scores is not enough for psychosocial environments, because average scores tends to hide the distribution of impacts that group members are experiencing. And so at Mibo, for example, we do the distribution analysis as well. And what you'll find, even in small groups, is big variations based, as discussed, on our human natures, where looking at this group in terms of civility, you've got people reporting both extremes of very high benefit and very high harm from this factor, and that's what you tend to find. That's just the nature of psychosocial risks. Okay, so this is looking at fairness, same sort of thing, manager support, and the same thing. So this is the very same manager in a small group, and you've got people experiencing and being impacted by the manager in completely different ways, experiencing variations of both harm and benefit. So if you'd like to learn more about how we go about it at Mibo, always up for a chat, just DM me or reach out through our website. We can set up a time to give you more information. Cheers.